Alright, so this was a private filmed for Muay Nation, and this was with the elbow hunter Yod Kunpon, who was a huge fighter. He was 118-pound champion at both Lumpini and Rajadamnern. So he's starting out by showing me in the clinch how to elbow in the clinch, and he keeps everything really tight. He's asking me how I normally elbow, and the ones that I've thrown tend to be that downward elbow thing. So he has you rest your hand actually on the outside, which for me is weird because you're always trying to get inside position, but he wants this right hand, which is the one I'm going to be elbowing with, on the bicep. Very gentle and outside. So my left hand is holding the back of his head, but it doesn't have to be super tight. So you just come over and collapse that elbow. So he has this little jerk. So when you're in the clinch, you kind of pull, but it's just a tight little jerk that comes off of knees. So they're focusing on the knees, and then you throw this elbow. See how soft his hand is on that bicep? You would never worry about that in 100 years. And then he kills you. He knows. Look at that smile. So you can see how he's not using tension in his arms, really. He has control, and it's tight, like you're not going to get out of that. But he's not putting tension in his arms to use much strength. So he's trying to time my elbow with his knee there. I was having a hard time with that timing. He's telling me to gum, which means to lean forward. You like bring your head in your chest. It's almost like a bow. See how far he turns on that elbow. It comes all the way across. So here again, it's trying to get the timing off of the knees. He's saying pull just a little bit, like while he's kneeing. I just pull, which will off balance him, and then you throw that elbow at the same time. So not only are they off balance, but they're getting slammed with this elbow. He's showing how people lean away from things. When they're being kneed, they're going to pull their head back, and that's when you throw the elbow. There. So there are actually two kinds of elbows. There's the elbow that can knock someone out, and then there's the elbow that cuts. And the elbow that cuts is more of a glancing blow. His nickname is the elbow hunter of 100 stitches because he cuts people up. So the turn on that and the timing on that is just going to slice people. That's incredible. So there, my timing was off. He wanted me to jerk him towards myself a little bit on that knee and then throw it. So you're pulling them into it, basically. So he's showing people put their head down when you're kneeing. So you knee and the head is down. And then when the head comes up, you elbow. And they're going to put their head back down and you can knee again.
Letting go with my left hand. I'm like letting go of him for his elbow, but like pull him into it.
So here he's showing me the next elbow, which is from a greater distance. So we're starting out with these longer knees. So here you grab behind the head and knee, and he's not grabbing super hard, but he's grabbing in just such a perfect spot that my head is totally trapped under his hand. And you pull a little bit harder right after that knee, and the head just comes farther down. I'm not doing it quite right. He's showing how if you keep your arms straight, you can block them trying to punch you while you're doing this. See his shoulder up by his chin when he does that? See, my arm's down, So I just get slammed in the face, but if you keep that guard up and the other arm is straight, you're blocked on both sides.
Yeah.
ถึงอย่างนี้ก็มือนี้ก็ไม่ได้ไม่ถูกอ่ะสมมติว่าทีนี้กาดมือขายนี่แต่นี่ถ้ามือออกมือเขาจะกันตก
So see how the guard is up and he's basically just crawling over it with his hands, and then the knee submarines.
ก็เหมือนการถ้าทีนี้การผมก็ป้องกันตัวไม่ได้เหมือนกัน
So I'm trying to grab his head, but I'm not grabbing it the way he does it. He's grabbing pretty much right where the elastics in my hair are, which is if you're clinching where you want your hands to be when you're in the double plum. But he's coming over from the top. So you keep your guard up all the time, but it's not tight, it's like a loose guard, and then you tighten it when you need it. His hands stay where his hands are right there all the time. So here he's showing how you'll see people touch hands to kind of gauge distance, and then he just folds his arm and that elbow collapses right into your face. But look how gentle his hand is, and he just collapses with that big step and the pivot. So you touch for distance, and then you just take a huge step and pivot over. See, there I push his hand down, and he's like, don't push my hand down. If I feel you touch my hand and push it, I'm going to go away, because I know what you're doing. It's a tell. So look how gentle his hand is on mine. He doesn't push it down, he just collapses it.
He does gently, because if you smack it down, they go away, but if you do gently, they just like wait there. But
So when someone just pats your hand like that, you would never think you're in danger of anything, so you just stand there. Here he's trying to show me that step forward. So it's one big step to the outside of their foot, and then you pivot with your back foot to get the angle.
back.
So I'm not pivoting hard enough. Got to step to the outside of his foot, and then bring my back leg around. There, I should be closer to his foot. There. So I keep pushing his hand down, and he keeps telling me stop pushing my hand down and keep your block up. So you want to keep that block for any counters, and then you can still just crash through with that elbow.
มันจะกลัวอะไรเราจะกลัวเราจะไม่เข้าถ้าเรามีที่นี่ปุ๊บมาเลยมาเลยระบบ
His elbows are crazy.
ไปหมดแล้วไงฟันแบบมั่นใจเลยนี่ฟันเข้าไปฟันแล้วก็
See how it's just on the joint, it just collapses, and he leans in with that? He covers an incredible amount of distance, and he's not jumping in, he's just taking a step. So then, so after you've pivoted off to the side, he's sideways, so you can hit him with pretty much anything. And I'm totally failing to grab the back of his head, so he can just kind of walk away from me. My elbow keeps coming down at an angle. I think that's why I'm pushing his hand down, is I'm trying to do an angled elbow, whereas his are actually really horizontal. See, I put angles on all of my elbows, and his are almost all horizontal. Here he's showing how you can just elbow and knee endlessly. And if I was grabbing him properly and elbowing every time his head came up, he just would have nowhere to go. When he demonstrates on me, he's not going